Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How are you, my dear students? I welcome you all in our science class. I am your subject teachers, and today this is lecture number 37, your science book. Today we are going to revise two units, unit number 12, force, and the unit number 13 about sound. So let's start with unit number 12, which is about the force. Let's read first. Reading is very important. So, reading first. All of your life forces have been acting on you, even though you probably do not notice. Every time you move something, use your pencil, or walk, you are using force. Understand about the force that every time when you are doing anything, you are using force. With the force, maybe its force is light, or maybe the force is hard, very strong. You are using force. Even when you are moving, you move with the force. You are putting your legs sometimes slowly, then you exert a low force, and when you put your feet strongly, hardly, and quickly on the ground, then you are exerting strong force, a lot of force. When you are using pencil, you are exerting force to write something on the paper. Sorry. Okay, let's see what is force. Forces are pushes and pulls. When you push something, it is force. When you pull something, you are exerting force. For example, when you do homework, you exert a force on your pen or pencil because you push and pull it across the paper. When you push, you are exerting force. When you are pulling it back, your pencil or pen, then you are exerting force. There are many kinds of forces. The wind, running water, and gravity are all natural forces. Wind, running water, and gravity, they are natural forces. Forces can also be produced by people, animals, and machine. As you know, if the people are pushing something, they are exerting force, using force, creating force. Or animals, just like bullock carts, just like horse carriages, they are exerting force towards forward, and that's why they pull the cart. And machines also, like a car or other machines what we are using at the houses, they produce force. Okay, let's see the different type of force, then we will read what can a force do. Look what we have read about the natural forces. Running water, look how forcefully the water is going down. If you put anything here on the water, then the water will take this thing along with it, and then it will fall down. Look how forcefully the water is going down. It means running water has a force. Same like you can see here, the wind blowing heavily, strongly blowing wind, how the trees are moving. Look, it means there is a force in the wind also. Look, that man, how he is using this with the full force. He is holding an umbrella, and the force and the air or the wind coming from his back, and he is moving. Look, it's so enjoyable how he is moving on the skates. Are you enjoying by seeing this? These are the forces of wind, and this is the force of running water. When the water is still, no force is exerting, but the running water has a force. Then the another natural force is the gravity. As you have already seen this picture, gravity pulls everything downwards. Our earth has a force, our earth has a power which pulls everything down towards the earth. So that's why the things, when we throw the ball and the fruits from the trees, they fell downwards. You can see here like this. When the fruit is falling from the tree, it coming down. This boy throwing the ball, and look, when he throws, the ball goes down towards the ground. It is not moving upward, it's going down, and it is because of the gravity. Here, the apple, look, when it fell down, it goes towards the ground, not upward, because earth has a force which pulls everything towards it, and we name this force is gravity. And this is the person, a famous scientist, a very known scientist, Newton, who discovered that there is a force by this. He saw one day he was sitting under the apple tree and writing something. Then suddenly a apple fall down. Then he thought that there is something which pulls the apple down towards it. So he discovered that the earth has a power which he named it gravity. Understand? This is the natural force. Here, the gravity, running water, force of running water, blowing wind, and the gravity. These three are the natural forces. Other forces, man or animals or even the machine can produce forces. Now let's see what force can do. Forces change the way things move. Forces can cause objects to speed up. Just like when you drive a bicycle, when you are riding the bicycle, then you exert a force on the pedals and it moves. Forces can cause objects to move in a new direction. When the cars are moving, when we turn left or right the steering of the car by putting force on it, then the car moves on right side or left side. And there is one more force. When we push the brakes, then what happened? The car stops. Why the car stops? Because there is a force of force of friction in the tires, which rubs with the roads and the car stops. This is called friction. Let's see. Forces can cause objects to slow down. So when a driver pushes on the brakes of a moving car, it slows down. Friction, the force present between two surfaces, things rub together, like the tire of the car and the road. When they rub together, the speed of the car slows down. Friction slows down moving objects. Forces can cause objects to start moving or come to a stop. Forces can do both the things, to start moving, cause the objects to start moving, or cause them to stop. So this is the force of friction which cause the cars to slow down or to stop. Let's see how the friction works. Wheel rolls forward, push on the wheel, friction resists sliding. When the driver pushes the brakes, then in the brake there is a system which starts pushing it down and it rubs the road, and then the speed slows down. Just like this, here is a friction force between this block and the surface of the floor. When the man is trying to pull it, the friction force exerts on opposite direction. You can see here also motion on right direction and friction on opposite in left direction. Look how this car is moving. When the brakes pushes, it becomes red and it stops. And when there is no friction on the surface, friction helps us to move properly on the ground, on the floor. But if there is an oil or there is a water, the friction becomes less. So that's why people fell down like this. If there is oil between the feet of the person and the surface, there is a friction. But when there is an oil, the friction becomes very less and this person falls down. This is friction. Okay. Our this unit is all about the forces, that how forces help us, or you can say not help us, our all the movement in our daily life, everything we are using force, different type of force for doing anything. We are using energy and we are exerting force. And how we exert force? By using our energy. Okay, children? Okay, now the next unit is our unit number 13. It's about the sounds. After the force, then we have the sounds about how we hear the sounds around us. Let's see how sounds are useful for us. Sounds tell us about the world around us. We hear sounds with our ears. You already knew it in the first unit of science. We read that we can hear the sounds from our ears like this. How is sound produced? Sounds are made by vibrations. This is vibration. When something is vibrating, then we hear the sound. Things that vibrate quickly are sources of sound. Every time you make a sound when singing, speaking, or even whispering, you are making vibrations. By using your lips and tongues, you are making vibrations. When something begins to vibrate, it pushes and pulls the air around it. When your lips start vibrating when you are talking, then your lips push and pull the air around it, making different layers of air pressure. These layers are called sound waves. Understand? When something begins to vibrate, it pushes and pulls the air around it, making different layers of air pressure. These layers are called sound waves. Now you can see in this picture, these are the sound waves. They push and pull the air pressure and then they create sound waves. Sound travel in all directions. Sound can travel through solids, water, and air. If you are behind the wall, then you can hear. If you are inside the water, then you can also hear. Look like this. Read it. Dolphins and whales call to each other underwater. Dolphin and whales are the name of the kind of fishes. Their sounds are loud and clear and travel far. This is because sound travels so well through water. Okay, as you can see, these are the sound waves. The vibrations which push and pulls the air around the source of sound, and then by this sounds reach in our ear and then our ear to our brain. When someone is talking, the lips vibrate, sounds coming from here. What you like to say? Then these pushes and pulls of the air make the sounds and it reaches the human ear. Like this. Look, it's vibrating, creating the sound and it reaches the ear. When he is talking, the sound waves go into the ear of human being and then from here to the brain, and your brain tells you that what someone is saying. This is the explanation how sound waves reaches to our ear and how sound waves are produced by the vibration. When something is vibrating, look, this thing is vibrating, creating sound wave. Lips are vibrating and producing sounds. Okay? Okay. Can you hear the children in the class next door? The sound they are making are passing through the solid wall because the children of the next class are in another class and there is a wall and the door between two classes, but we can easily hear them. That's why it is proved that sound can travel through solids. Okay, how are sounds useful? Human beings and animals use sounds in many ways. We use sound when we talk to each other or when we alert others of danger. Sounds can be high and low. You know all that. Sometimes the sounds are very high and sometimes the sounds are very low. A guitar string plucked strongly makes a loud sound. A guitar string plucked gently makes a soft sound. When you knock, suppose when you knock on the door, if you knock slowly and gently, then there is a soft knock on the door. But when you are knocking hardly, very strongly and hardly by full force, you are knocking the door, then there will be a loud knocking sound. Okay, a drum skin hit hard makes a loud sound. A drum skin hit gently makes a soft sound. So, longer vibration is equal to more energy, which is equal to louder sound. Longer vibration is equal to more energy, which is equal to louder sound. If you are close to a sound, it sounds loud. If you are far away, it sounds soft. If someone is shouting, your friend, suppose you are standing with your friend very near to your friend and he starts shouting, then the sound is very loud for you. But your another friend is very far away at the next corner of the ground, then he hears a very light or very soft sound of your friend because make some distance make changes on the sound. Pitch of a sound. The pitch of a sound is how high or low the sound is. A high pitch creates a shrill sound. A low pitch creates a deep sound. A short string gives a more high-pitched sound than a long string when they are plucked. They are talking about the strings of guitar. Understand what is the pitch of sound? When I before it I told you about your friend. When he is shouting, you are near your friend, so the pitch is very high. And the other friend, which is at the next corner, for him the pitch of the sound is low. So, what is the pitch? The pitch of a sound is how high or low the sound is. Okay, kids, that's about the sounds and the force. We have read it. Now, let's see the short question answers. I told you. Let's see what is a force. After reading the book, after understanding, after clearing the concept, then you have in your mind clear picture that what is a force. Force is an energy. As I told you, when you are exerting force, you are doing some work, you are using your energy. So by energy, you can change anything. What is a force? Force is an energy. List three different type of forces: the wind, running water, and gravity. What can a force do? A force can make a change. What can a force do? A force can make a change, as it stops the car or change the shape of anything, or it change the direction of anything. So force can make a change. What are you using when you move something? We are using force. When you try to move, suppose you try to move your books from one table to another table. So you are exerting some force for putting these books, and then you put it back on another table. So you are using force. So the answer of this question, what are you using when you move something? We are using force. What is the force present between two surfaces? It is friction, not fraction. Every time I made mistake, it is friction. What is the force present between two surfaces? It is friction. Say the spelling, F-R-I-C, fric, T-I-O-N, shun, friction. These questions about the unit force, and the next is about sound. How is sound produced? Sound is produced by vibrations. How are sounds useful? We use sound to talk to each other. Here also write other, each other. What are the layers of air pressure called? They are called sound waves. Can sound travel through solids? Yes, sound can travel through solids. As I told you, the walls are solid. If you are standing or sitting behind the wall in another room, you can hear the bell ringing, or you can hear someone is talking in another room. So these walls are solid, so we can hear the sounds. Sounds can travel through solids. What type of sound is created by a low pitch? A deep sound. What type of sound is created by a low pitch? A deep sound. Okay, children, these are the short question answers. So you have to prepare them for your exams. Not necessary that these questions all will come in your exam. Maybe some unseen, or maybe just like these questions will come in your final exams. So you have to read your units, all the units of your science book properly, which are included in a scheme of studies, which I made the videos for you. Unit 5, then unit 11, 12, 13, and 14. So you have to read all these units properly and try to understand the meanings and get the concept, and then you can be able to answer the different questions. If the different questions are in a different form, then you can answer easily. Okay, kids? Okay. Thank you so much. That's all for today. We'll see you next time, inshallah. Take care.